Hello YouTube! Here we go again. This is the second try. Yeah, I was talking about how you can't whiff against Law. I won't like say too much anymore. He has 3+4/4, very easy whiff punch. Good Law players will fuck you up. Be careful of whiffing against them, basically is what I was trying to say. And in the neutral, that's your game plan. Try not to whiff too much, and even electrics, when you think you can whiff against some characters, against Law, you can't really get away with it. So, electrics, be careful with it, especially if you play against someone very, very good. Because they will be able to punish it like 3+4/4 into a, you know, Law combo. What's a Law combo? I don't know, something like this. Whatever, right? So yeah, be very careful. And in neutral, he will usually do this move a lot. So this is one of the few moves you have to be very, very wary of. And I like to do a block on hit and do neutral against it. So let's first go on the neutral. So when you notice the Law player just does this a lot, usually the thing is, Law is step to the right a lot, usually. More than to the left. Because this shit tracks really well. For example, down forward 1, right? Tracks really well to the left. And some of his moves track really well to the left as well. So sidestepping to the left usually isn't that good of an idea unless you're like stepping particular moves. Like back 2 isn't a good example. Like down forward 1 tracks to the left, for example. That's an example like twice. But yeah, this is one of the few situations where you want to step to the left and not to the right. Because this has a bit of a tracking to the right. As you can see, like a little bit, but it's there. And you can sidestep it to the left way easier. It has literally, basically no tracking to it. So if you notice a Law player abusing this too much, a sidestep left is usually where you want to go. And of course, if it whiffs, you electric it. You can go right as well, but it's a little bit harder. You have to like sidewalk and commit to it like this. Just look at the tracking, right? A little bit of tracking. It's not that good. So go left against this move with the neutral. If you notice, they use it a lot. So something like this, do this again, right? You can also sidewalk down block. Something like that. They spam this shit. Yeah, it's the opposite of Brian's back 2. What's Brian's back 2? But yeah, you go to the left, basically. But other than that, you usually do want to go to the right. Because Magic 4 is also one of those moves that can be stepped to the right a little bit easier than to the left. It's steppable both ways, as you guys can see. But it does have a bit of tracking to the left, like very, very little. But it's there. But it can be stepped both ways. So usually, like something like Mustang 4 as well in some situations, I would go to the right most of the time. Also back 1, this move also really good. You guys see this tracking? You see this? A lot of Law players, especially good ones, use this very, very well. And this counter hit conform model, right? This string. Back 1 to 2, I think? Yeah, this shit. And this is all guaranteed. I fucked up. I forgot. I forgot the power crush. So this move is like very usable for Law players. It's very good. But if you go to the left against it, this tracks really, really well. As you guys can see, look at this. I'm sidewalking left, but it still hit me. I can't avoid it. So that's why I usually do want to go to the right. But Dragon Hammer actually tracks a bit to the right. So be very careful. As you can see, look at this tracking, right? A bit of tracking to the right. It will still block, even though I'm sidestepping. But if you do the same to the left, it won't. So beware of that. If you notice, they like doing this, sidestep to the left a bit more. But if they don't do it, and they like doing other stuff, maybe sidestep to the right. So keep that in mind, it's very, very important. Also, something like this is a very common Law move as well. And this move has very, very good tracking in general, but there are some situations where it can be tracked, not tracked, step to the right, I think, but not to the left. There's a bit more tracking to the left. At least, in my experience, it has tracked it to the left a little bit more than to the right. But in general, it has very, very good tracking. But yeah, let's not talk about that too much. Sidestep right is very good, unless they do this shit. Then it's iffy. But now we have to like see some like tracking moves, not see, but you have to think about them. Because Law actually has one of the best tracking moves in my opinion. Back 4 is amazing. I love back 4. And Law players love back 4. It's a 14 frame mid tracking move. It's +3 on hit, does 13 damage, it's decent. It's safe, -7. And it's really, really good. Very fast, you can't really fuzzy it that well. It's hard to fuzzy. You can fuzzy it, but it's not hard to fuzzy. Not fuzzy, sidestep block, basically is what I mean. So be careful of that. So for example, right, they do this, and then back 4. For example, they can do that. If they see you stepping, one of the options they have is definitely that. And you can interrupt it, but it will trade with a while staying 4. And a dick jab will beat it. If we were playing Akuma, we would get the launcher here, but yeah. We're not playing Akuma. No dick jab launchers. What can you say? So keep that in mind. And also, about Dragon Hammer, it's very, very important. Especially against good Law players. We're gonna assume the Law player is good. They can either stay standing, so if they mash 4, let's say they mash 4. The magic 4 will come out. Right? They have this option. So if you do press, like, for example, this, you're gonna get countered. While standing 4. Anything you press, you're gonna get countered, right? Right? Unless you press Rage Art. The Rage Art actually beats that, but we're not discussing that right now. But the other option, as I said, they can stay standing, but they can also stay crouching. You hold down, and the Law player stays crouching, so they can also while standing 4. Like this. Right? And also counter you with the while standing 4. And that's a big no-no. You do not want to get counter hit by Laws while standing 4. Big no-no, especially against good Law players. They're gonna cancel into this, and that's guaranteed on counter hit. I can't do it, it's very hard to do. But good Law players can do it, right? This shit. On counter hit. And that's all guaranteed. You can't do shit about that. So try not to press after this, unless you have like a good read on it. So be very careful about that. The while standing 4, and after this, you're still in the mix-up. So let's say this happens. Right? You try to sidestep, you will get hit. You try anything, you will get hit. So you have to block this. So after they go into DSS, then you have to guess what they do in DSS. The most common option is this 4, is this 2 right here. But it's the mind game here is like a million-way mind game. Because one, they can do a DSS move like this one, for example, right? Or this one, which is kind of slow, or this one, they can do that. Or they can also cancel DSS and go for like normal moves. I don't know how to do it. But yeah, they can use like this move, some other stuff. So the mind game here is very, very strong. So you have to like notice what move the Law player likes to do. Usually it's this. So after while staying 4, if I remember correctly, you block while staying 4. There we go, I just cancel it. I can't do it. If you go to the right or left, I don't remember. You can kind of avoid a lot of his options if you like do a little bit of a duck as well. Because this usually tracks really well. Like that. So be a bit careful with the sidewalk, it might still hit you. So sidestep right duck is usually good. Or sidewalk right usually works as well. But sometimes it can hit you. Like that. Because that's how I remember it. There's some other options, not this one. Like this one, this mid right here. Also common, especially at the wall, they might use it. So if you go to the right, also avoid it. There's some other stuff as well. Unless they just don't do anything, just press something else, right? Like down forward one can be avoided, but if they do this into this, I think you won't be able to avoid it with the sidestep. Yeah, look at that. So there are some options Law has that does this. Or they can just continue pressure with down back 3, yeah, just like Alrender said, exactly. And this is like one of his best pokes. Before I go to top back 3 though, let's continue with this. Like, one of the options he has is wall standing 4, right? Of course. But if the law player sees, oh, he's respecting my dragon hammer, he's not doing anything, not sidestepping, literally nothing, he's just standing there, then he might go for a schmix up. Full crouch schmix. With a slide right here. So he's full crouch, gonna do a slide. Because you're respecting the frames, he's gonna mix you up. And of course, the full crouch mix up of laws, let's transition to that. It's basically either a slide or a wall standing 2 if he wants to go for a big reward, right? Of course, good law players won't use wall standing 4 that much, this much. But it's still a thing that you have to figure, you know, be ready for, basically. It's minus 18. If you do guess right, make sure to electric it. Gotta launch it, you gotta. It's minus 18, it's not even 15. It's very, very launch punishable. And yeah, the slide is not reactable. But the other mid law players like to go for, good ones, is wall standing 1. Because good law players can also hit confirm this sometimes. It's very hard to hit confirm. You can kneel hunters take for column. Like, it's very hard to hit confirm, it's not easy. Well, it's not the hardest thing in the game, but most law players do this, trying to hit confirm it. Wall standing 1, 2, like this. So if you see a law player doing this, like full crouch mix up into wall standing 1, usually they're trying to do that so that they can hit confirm it. And then hit you with it as a mid mix up. In that situation, it's a pure guessing game. Exactly. Alrando. Exactly, it's a pure guessing game, because if you respect it, it's just what it is. And usually, the thing is, in this situation, this kind of situations, us had a very, very good option. And the option was, if they delay it too much, something like this, you can do this. This was a very, very good option before it was nerfed, because it had a counter hit property. So it's a 13 frame wall standing move, and it had a counter hit property, it was very good. But now we don't have that good of an option to press in these kind of situations, full crouch situations. So I don't know, maybe wall standing 4 to check him, or this. Of course you can still do this, or on a hard read you can do this as well. But you know, all this shit is very, very risky. Especially at the twin pistons. Because as I said, they can magic 4, just counter hit you. Something like a dick jab or a down 4 will avoid that, but still, be very careful. Because not only can they use buttons, they can also sidestep into a whiff punish or something like this, right? If you dick jab, you're gonna get fucked. Stuff like that can happen. Even the wall standing 4 can whiff, or wall standing 1+2 will track. Same with 1-2. So be very, very careful. Because law players also like doing this into this. Because law has this. It's a sidestep 15 frame punish. I fucked up the combo. So yeah, be very, very careful. This is like a pretty big mind game because of DSS being the thing. The wall standing 4 DSS. And now let's talk about down back 3. Down back 3 is like a pressure tool law has that they use when they want to be a little bit less risky. You know, they don't want to risk too much. So they use down back 3. It's very good. Very, very good. It's +4. 15 damage. It's something like a stature kick. But it does less damage, 3 less damage. And it's 3 frames faster. So, and oh, I almost forgot. It forces crouch, which is the biggest thing about it. So it's really, really good. When you get hit by this, you have to be very careful, because this is also a very big mind game situation. You're -4 and full crouch. They have the option to just magic 4 here. If they see you mashing, they can just magic 4. Right? Of course, if you see them magic 4, you have a lot of other options like sidestep electric, backdash electric, stuff like this. But as I said, it's a mind game situation. But the things become way, way trickier if the law player doesn't use just 4. If they use like 4-3, something like this, because this is also a launcher, it becomes way harder to punish that with like a backdash electric. You're gonna get countered. Right? Same with sidestep electric. So you have to be ready for it and duck it. But if you notice them using this, they're taking a huge risk. This is duckable. This is not a J-Link string. Like this. You can duck it and punish it. TP is a very, very good one here. They're taking a lot of risk. If they're not doing just this and doing this, it's very risky. Because if you block it, you duck it, you launch it. It's not easy to react to most of the time, but you can do it. Basically, is what I'm saying. 100% you can do it. So the other options Law players have after this is a back one, which is a frame trap. It's very, very good. Especially if the opponent's on P1. This will track to the left side and you won't be able to sidestep to the right side, right? So it's very good. And if you press, this is also a counter hit confirm. And they can just do the whole string and it will connect. So it's very, very good option to do a back one here. Very good, especially if you are on P1 because this tracks to the left. Very, very good move. I really like it. Magic 4, we already discussed. They can also check you with a down forward 1. Down forward 1 is also one of the moves that tracks to the left. So basically if you're P1 and you force crouch, a lot of shit will track you, except for Dragon Hammer, which I already discussed at the start of the vid. So if they do this into Dragon Hammer, if you do go to the left, this will whiff. But if they do something like back 1, down forward 1, something like that, it won't. I think Magic 4 will also whiff. I think we already saw that, right? Yeah, it will whiff. Don't have to check it again. So yeah, be careful of this mind game. Also, jabs are very, very common after it. Because, you know, you can't step. It's very fast. Look at that shit. I can't step that. It hits you. And you can't fuzzy this either. It comes out way too fast. And if you do press, it's a knockdown. So 1, 2, 3, amazing move of Law's, and they can use it in that situation. Because it's a high mid, and the mid is safe, and it comes out very fast after the highs. So even if you duck the 1, 2, it's very hard to punish. So for example, something like this happens, right? It's very, very hard to punish. If you're ready for it, you can, but it's not easy at all. I'm fucking it up. Look at that. Because the mid comes out very fast. So be very careful about that. 1, 2, 3 is an amazing stream that Law players have. It's very good and very hard to punish. Especially when you can't sidestep it in that situation. And I almost forgot, back 4, also one of the options. Very common option. Because, you know, tracking move. It will just track you no matter where you go, and it's safe. It has a mind game as well. Okay, now let's immediately transition. Oh, Unrestricted, thank you for the subscription, man. Big thank you. So let's talk about the back 4 mind game. So back 4 is also a very, very good move. I already talked about this, but it has a mind game to it because it has a follow-up, back 4-3. So let's talk about that mind game. 1, this is a high. Of course, you can duck it. You can launch it, right? No shit. This is obvious. Pissed gonna in your room. 100%, bro. But yeah, that's the obvious mind game. But then comes the mind game of you ducking it when they don't finish it. Let's say you block it and you duck it, right? You think a high is coming and you duck it. Then the Law player just keeps on doing this shit. And you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do, right? This is what's called like a mental frame mind game. When you're ducking this, like that, you're giving them frames to like pressure you more. They can do something like this and do this. Because you're ducking the high, get up, you're gonna get hit. So that's the mind game that I'm talking about when it comes to back 4. Sometimes, it's not that bad to check him after back 4. Actually, most of the time, it's in your favor to check him after back 4. Because Law players do not want to finish this. They don't want to finish this. It's a big, big risk. Because if they finish it and you duck it, GG well played, you're gonna deal like half HP's damage. Especially if you get a Lost Blood, right? Something like this. I don't know, double electric combo. I fucked up. Let me try again. One more time. Something like this. Fancy combo. Do this shit to the wall. Wall combo, 100 damage, you get what I mean. Very risky for the Law player to finish this. So, the thing is, on block, if you actually mash here, it's -7. You're gonna be forcing them to finish it sometimes, which is a good thing. You want them to finish it. Because you don't want them to just do this and pressure you, or do this and sidestep. You don't want them doing that. What am I playing on? Yeah, controller, PS4. Normal PS4 controller. Just like on the overlay. So yeah, back 4 mind game, be very wary of it. So if you do notice them mashing after it, the down 4-2 is a very good option because they can't even power crush through it. Or rage art through it. So you get a good counter hit, you get good damage, stuff like that. Right? Good stuff. But be wary of the high. If they do finish it, you will get hit. So, for example, you think they're gonna press you to down 4-2, you're gonna get countered. Thankfully it's not a launcher, but the one time I would say to be very, very careful is at the wall. When the law player plays this mind game at the wall, it's a little bit more worth it for him to finish it because of the wall splat. So if you do this and you press, the law player gets a wall splat into a very, very good damage with like re-wall splats and, you know, fancy stuff. Law players know this shit. So be very careful playing the mind game when your back is against the wall. If you want to play it safe, don't press anything, just play the mind game. If you like have a hard read, maybe press something, get a counter hit, but I'm just saying that it can be risky. Oh wait, I almost forgot. One of the most BS moves Law has. This move right here. I was talking about sidestep left, right? On how you sidestep left, the dragon hammer and shit like that. Usually you want to sidestep to the right. But this move denies all logic. This down 4-2. You see this shit? You can't sidestep this anywhere. If you sidewalk it, it won't work. You have to sidestep and block. If you try sidestepping it and just don't block, it will also hit you. But this move is one of the most BS moves he has. Aside from 3+4 is also pretty BS. So be very careful when it comes to stepping. Make sure to just step block a lot. Because this move is very good. Very, very good. This down 4-2. Deals decent damage as well. I don't know. Damn, I did it! Nice. Like, good damage. So be very careful. Okay. That's about that move. Okay. Now the risky options. If the law player kind of notices that you're tilting a lot, can you add me? Yeah, you can, but I'm not sure if my friend list is full or not. It might be full. If it's not, just add me. I'll add you as well. But yeah, the risky stuff. If they see you turtling, the law player might come up to you, force a mix-up, and mix you up with this move right here. Because this is a high risk, but it's not high reward. It's like medium reward, but high risk mix-up option that Law has. So this happens. Low high. It's pretty annoying. So you kind of have to duck it because it's very, very fast and tracks really well. But if you do duck it, it's launch punishable. Right? So very important. Keep this in mind. So be very careful of turtling too much because the law player will start doing this a lot. This is what they usually do. Also, something like this into this, also pretty common. You're trying to play long, the combos are hard. The combos are hard. Yeah, I agree. So if you do sidestep, for example, this will track you. Stuff like this. But be very careful. Sometimes you have to fuzzy duck after a dragon hammer if they like doing this. Right? Backturn shenanigans. Yeah, the thing is, Law does have backturn stuff, but the situations when he does go backturn ain't that much. Like there are some, but it ain't that much. I actually don't know how to go backturn. How do I go backturn? Okay, before that though, let me discuss this move. So this mid is also one of the options Law has. Is a mid tracking move. Back 3. So one I talked about is back 4, the fast one. Not a lot of reward, 13 damage. Decent plus frames, it's not that bad plus 3. But the other one is this, which will usually be used at the wall. So if you do sidewalk, this will hit you. Very, very good move with a very good wall splat range. But not a lot of people know that it is punishable, minus 12. But pushback makes it so that you can't punish it most of the time. Let's see, like something like this. Like that. So at the wall, in some situations, it does become punishable. But most of the time, you won't be able to punish it. Damn, nice combo. I'm a law player now. So be very careful. Because at the wall, law players love doing this because, you know, free wall splat, into damage, decent damage. It's good. So something like this into this might also be a thing because you're going to sidestep or you're going to get hit into a wall splat. Be careful about that. Now, how about back turn? The back turn shenanigans Law has is two stuff, basically, usually. One is down 4, this move. It's pretty slow, 23 frames. It's not the slowest, but it's pretty slow. And it's a normal hit launcher. So when the Law is back turned, you have to know that this might be coming. This is launch punishable. When you block it, it's big stagger. Okay, let me try to like... Right? Oh, it's not a big stagger, my bad. But it's launch punishable, it's minus 15. Like that. Oh, and the wall thing 1-2 didn't reach there. But that's like a very weird situation because of the way I went back turned, basically. Usually wall thing 1-2 will work. It might not work sometimes, but usually the twin pistons will work and you'll be able to launch it. But it's minus 15, do not wall standing 2. This does not work. The other option he has is like the generic option like this one, which is really good, of course. This is like a good option for everyone, the back turn down 4. It's 10 frame low, that's also plus 3, that's also high crush, it's like, it's amazing, but it's back turn move. So that's generic low. The other one he has is this right here, back turn 2. So the back turn 2 is a mid that he can use to kind of mix you up with the other ones. And this kinda can be hit confirmed. Kinda. But now let's discuss this move. So first, just this, without the follow-up. Fucking hell. I need to block it. It's minus 14, right? Just this one. So if you're good enough, you can kind of electric it, but it's very hard to do because the block style is a bit weird. And I would not really recommend it, but it is possible. But if you want to punish it, something like back to 4 also works. But keep in mind that he is not back turned here. He is not back turned. Can you make a lab request? Yeah, this was actually a lab request as well. But if you make a lab request right now, I have to do it on the next stream. Because I won't be able to do like 2 in one stream. But yeah, that's about 1. It's minus 14. You can punish it. But then comes the second one, which can be delayed by a lot. But this one, unlike the first one, is actually launch punishable. Right? If you do block it, you can launch it. Something like this. Even with an electric, it's not that hard because it's minus 17. You get a decent combo. Make sure to launch that. But that's only for the... what's it called? The second one, second hit. The first one is minus 14. So be wary of that. The other stuff that not a lot of people know of, like the minus frames, just to discuss them, is something like this. I think everyone knows this, but let's just discuss it anyway. This move is minus 15. You can electric it. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but you know, you can electric it, launch it. If you don't want to electric it, you can down forward 1-2 for easy punish, stuff like that. And the law players sometimes do throw this out. Even good ones will throw this shit out, you know? Because on a hard read, this will do a lot of damage. Be wary of that, that's launch punishable. The other stuff is this one right here. They also love doing this. This is also launch punishable, but not a lot of people know that. The thing is, this is very hard to launch outside of the wall. Because even electric doesn't reach, right? But something like a down 4-2, this will always reach it. This is punishable. Always reaches. Let me try to make it whiff. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll try to make it whiff. Nah. Basically always reaches. The only time you can launch it, like something like down forward one won't work either. The only time you can launch it is if they do it at the wall. So let's do it a little bit. So this situation, that's launchable. There you go, that's a punish. So be wary that that move is -15. All the time you can punish by down forward 2, even in the neutral. But at the wall you can also launch it or down forward 1, 2. Either of those two. Canceling stuff is very hard with Law, yeah. Very, very hard. And yeah, and this is speed lamp. Okay. But now let's talk about some of the mind games that Law has that are like very, very kind of cancer. Like a lot of people can get annoyed by it. One of the ones is after while staying 4. While staying 4, 3+4. So this move, if you think you can like challenge after while standing 4 and you press something, boom, you get launched, right? But it's very high risk because you can punish it. Why does it say 0? Oh, there we go. +17. Why the fuck did it say 0? You can't launch this shit. Man said 0. So yeah, this is a mind game. Be careful of doing like anything after while staying 4. Mind game. Exactly the same kind of mind game is his down 4. This one right here. Generic down 4. So if he catches you pressing something after generic down 4, you will get launched. Also, there's also -17. You can launch it. I don't know what's wrong with the frame bot, but it's -17. Just hold back, launch it. Banana peel. Yeah, banana peel. I'll talk about that as well. So that's one of the things that's very, very important to know. That mind game. But the one very major difference, not difference, but different mind game is this one. A lot of people confuse this flip with these flips. With these flips. They're not the same flip. Not at all. So this flip, for example, and this one is different. They look the same, almost exactly the same, but they're different. Because frame-wise, they're very different. And this is a very, very common setup that Law players use. So for example, they use this. Look at the frames. It's -1. And this time, the frame bot's actually right about this. This is correct, it's -1. And they use this situation because a lot of people think that, you know, it's a lot of minus. And after this, they all either mash jabs like 1 to 3, or they also mash magic 4. Because you do something like a down forward 1 check, for example, right? A 13 frame check. But this will become 12 and counter it launch you. Very, very common, so be very careful. The mind game is pretty simple. You either press and get countered, or if you don't press, they might, you know, just continue pressure, or stuff like that. You can also have the option to just, you know, do a high crushing move like a generic down 4, which can be decent, but it's risky. So be wary of that. This 3 flips. So this flip right here, this one, and this one. Be wary of these. Oh, and by the way, about this, you have like a few options to deal with it. One is if you jab, you can actually float it. Something like a down forward 1 won't work. Something like back 2 will trade, and something like down forward 4 will also work. So you have 13 frames here. And one other thing you can do is also sidestep it. Either way works, but I think right works a little bit better. I'm not sure. I think either way is like the same. You can also sidestep it and launch it, but just be careful about launching it because it recovers quite quickly. Or they mash down to 3. Yeah, that's also a thing. They can do down through 3 here. Down to 3. If you do 1, 2 here, you're gonna get countered. Anything slow, you're gonna get countered. Also one of the things. But of course, if you block this, as I said, it's launch punishable. Launch this shit. Yep, 4 up 3 to down to 3. Classic Law, right? Classic stuff. So be very, very careful. But one of the things also is that very, very unique about Law is wall running 3. His wall running 3 is very weird. There's like 8 active frames, as you guys can see. From 20 to 28. So I can literally do this from very, very far away, and I'll still block it. Let me try to like showcase it. Double backdash, 1, 3. You see this? Look at this. This is like very unique to Law. And some other characters also have it. But be very careful when it comes to this move. The active frames on it is insane. Sometimes I think it's whiffed. Like it actually whiffs and I try to punish it, but I just get hit by it. Because I think it whiffed, but active frames are not over yet. They're not over yet. So be very wary of that. And also, of course, it's a wall running 3. If you do get block it, it's -7. And you're gonna be in the wall running 3 mix up. Most of them are +9, but this one's +7. It's not that big a deal. Most of the time they'll do either this, down back 3, check you with either of these moves. You know, down forward 1, back 1, sometimes back 2, magic forward, even down forward 4 sometimes. Just be careful of that. Yeah, the more active move the move has, the better it tracks, so this is also pretty hard to sidestep. Even though it's a wall running move, it's a wall running 3. Normal you can step them easily, easier than normal anyway. But yeah, it's very hard to do that. Now let's talk about something that's like more or less obvious at this point. In Tekken 7's lifespan, more or less obvious and everyone knows it. Back 2 has a mind game, and I don't see enough Law players kind of abusing the back 2 mind game in my opinion. That it's a little bit risky for the Law player. I guess that's why. I kind of understand it. So the mind game here is very simple. There's a junkyard here, and you kind of want a low parry, right? That's obvious. So you want a low parry junkyard after back 2. You see back 2, you low parry. The mind game here is very, very simple. They do just back 2. You do a low parry, and they just continue their pressure. It's back 2 on block. Let me remember. -8. Yeah. It's not punishable. I didn't remember exactly how much it was. I thought it was -7. But yeah, it's -8. And if you do a low parry, you're going to give them mental frames. The mind game is like in their favor. They might do back 2 into back 2 again, or back 2 into down back 3. That's why this kind of mashing, you know, we call it mashing, but it works. It's a mind game situation. Even though you're a hell of a lot of minus, the mind game gives mental frames because, you know, junkyard, you low parry it, it doesn't come out. You give him frames, down back 3 hits you. Or you just duck twice, something like that, this hits you. But if you disrespect it, for example, you disrespect it, you do down forward 2. Right? They might just finish it. And you get countered. And this shit is guaranteed on counter. And they can delay it a lot as well. So you can't react to back 2 on block, just back 2 on block. You can't do it. Be very, very careful when it comes to that. Okay. I already talked about down forward 2, how cancer it is. I talked about some of the DSS options, the most of them you have to sidestep to the right. But yeah, I also said this at the start as well, but I'll say it again. But if you want to like really, really lab Law, I can't do DSS cancels that well. You have to go to a Law player and ask him to what to do about the DSS options. Like what the best thing is about it. So that's what I would recommend as well. Other than that, most of the stuff I did cover. I think the only thing left is this right here, not this. Actually, let's talk about this as well. You don't see this that much, but let's just talk about it because I randomly pressed it. So this move, some Law players might use it as a high crush. See this shit? This is like a high crushing setup that some Law players might use. And this is punishable. It's -13. I think Kazuya can punish it. Yeah, pretty consistently. So be wary of this. Since I like randomly pressed it, I just talked about it. You also have to talk about banana peel. How's banana peel? There you go. This one right here. Which is the one other low that Law player can poke with. And then we can talk about the race drive. Yep, DSS race drive. So banana peel. This is actually a very, very good low to go for against people that have very good highs, like high keep outs. Someone like Steve's back 1 or any Mishima's electric comes to mind, right? High keep out, something like that. And this is a high crushing low. So something like an electric won't keep it out. Something like Steve's back 1 will whiff. So this is really good because of that. It's also +4. So it's a very, very good move. Also, it has a counter property. I think 4 3+4 is guaranteed. I forgot. I mean, this is 100% guaranteed, but maybe this is also guaranteed. But yeah, something is guaranteed there. But the thing about this is, it's -15, which is kind of shit, to be honest. For Kazuya, it's kind of shit. I'll thank you for following. Because as a Kazuya player, I hate when something's -15 and not 16. Because I can't wall stand too, right? I can't do this. This is not punished. But at least good news, wall standing 1-2 almost always works. There's not a case. I don't think I've ever missed wall standing 1-2 in a real match. I think it might be missable. Let me try to make it work. Nah, I doubt it. I doubt it. There we go, I made it whiff. Okay. That was hard to make it whiff, but yeah, wall standing 1-2 almost always works. So don't worry about that. But just make sure to not wall standing 2 because it doesn't work. It's not that minus. And the thing about banana peel is that you can step it. Not that easily. I think it has a little bit of tracking to the left, just a little bit. Yeah, look at that. But more or less you can step it. But when it whiffs, make sure not to electric. This doesn't work. Do not electric it. It recovers high crushing. Right? So as a cosplayer, you have to down forward 1-2. This is your best punish. Or I don't know, go crazy if you want, if you can't do it. Delay top kick, punish it. I mean, if you can't do it, go ahead. But down forward 1-2 is your best friend here. Fast punish, mid, is what you want. Okay. And other than the DSS options, which I already said, better to ask a law player because I can't really lab them that well. My DSS is shit. So now let's talk about the rage. So, Law's new rage drive. Yikes. Yikes. Law's new rage drive. So Law can immediately go to DSS with a very, very simple down 1+2 input, right? Like this. This little shimmy shammy. Basically what it is. And then immediately can go into rage drive. So to do this fast, you don't even see the DSS transition. And it's like instant. It's very fast. Very, very fast. So, about this move. This can come out literally any second because how fast the transition is. But you can also make it like predicted in some situations. Especially when Law does the DSS transition move. So something like wall standing 4 is a DSS transition. Right? So you can kinda expect this instantly. After wall standing 4, they can do that. So the one way to predict this is that if you know something is a DSS transition, like a wall standing 4, for example, you can predict that they might do this and block it. But other than that, it's very hard to react to with these 22 frames. Oh fuck. I messed up. It's very, very fast. Sometimes you can react to it, but most of the time you won't be able to. You either get hit or you have to guess. So be very careful about that. Oh, and I almost forgot. Fuck. The block frames. What the fuck am I doing? There we go. But when you block it, it's -9. Well, -9 for Law, +9 for you. It's not punishable. So usually the best thing you can do against it is the low parry, of course, but if you block it, just keep in mind that it's -9. You can't punish it. Something like 1-1 won't work. And it's basically a mini mind game, which is not really a mind game. -9 is pretty big, but you know, -9 is still not punishable. Be careful about that. Okay. What else? Oh, 3+4. I talked about that at the start, but I just forgot to mention one of the most important parts about it. So 3+4, I don't think a lot of people know it because there was some guy in chat that tell me he never knew that 3+4 was punishable. So this move is punishable. That's -14. Just this. That means you can electric it just like I did right now. It's actually not that hard to electric if you practice it. Like this. Of course it needs practice. It's a 14 frame electric, but still. You can either electric it or punish it. -14, so someone like Brian will be able to jet up for it. Right? Someone like Lars will be able to forward back 2-1. which is a launcher. But then comes the mind game, which is the high. You do block it, the mind game is like, either you duck this, launch it, or you just punish this. But you also have option select options, something like, you know, this, or like down 2, or down 4. Basically, high crushing options are kind of option select, but in my opinion, they're not worth going for, because that will incentivize the law to spam this a lot. Because that dick jab punish is literally nothing. It's basically nothing. So basically, you have to go for the mix up there. So it's minus 14. It's very, very good. Law player, let's go. I fucked up. But also one more trick, which is very hard. It's pretty hard. Or play Agumon. Yeah, play Agumon and dick jab punish them with a launcher. Amazing shit, right? Fucking Agumon, man. Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention is that you kinda can react to this if they do the high or not. But make sure if you go for the reaction, it's like a conscious thought. You either go for the reaction or you don't go for the reaction. If you do go for the reaction, you cannot duck. That means you will be blocking this and not ducking it. Right? But that's okay. I almost forgot to mention this. I'll mention this later as well. So if you do go for the reaction, you wait and then 1-1-2 punish it. You kind of react, it's stopping and the high is not coming out, so you 1-1-2 punish. It's possible, but it's hard, especially on like something like PS4 or bad connection. It will be harder than, you know, normal. And let's cover this as well, that the high is actually auto punishable. Minus 13. Kazuya can actually punish this with down 4-4. Kinda insane, isn't it? I always forget to punish it. Personally, I always forget. But it's minus 13. Like, AK will be able to punish this all the time. Kinda insane. Because you almost never see this get punished, right? Let me try to make that whiff. I don't think I can make that whiff. Good shit. Good shit. Alright, flex hello. Fake flip poke. Fake flip poke. What's fake flip poke? I did not cover that. You mean this? Oh, after wall combo. Yeah, I will upload this on YouTube. 100%. Yeah, plebeian, you didn't know, right? Not a lot of people know. Even I forget. What if I play against the law? I don't punish it. I really forget. I think it's safe. I always think it's safe, but it's not. But yeah, after wall combo, there are a lot of options. Let's do this like at the last. I don't know the DSS options law can do, but after law does a wall combo, like something like this, right? The options he has is either check you with a down forward 2. If you do something like a sidestep or any button, you might get launched for free. They might like do something like this. They might do something like this. Keep on pressure. If they think you're gonna sidestep, as I talked about, back 3 is a very common move. Something like back 4-3, also very common. It can happen, or just a back 4. Or back 1, also very common. And this is not counting the DSS options Law has, because Law can also just do this dragon kick right here, if they feel like it. And it's the new tactics, minus 10, so a lot of options. Oh, up 4-3-4. Oh, you mean the cheesy setup they do? Oh yeah, I get what you mean. So the thing Already is talking about is, after a wall combo, some people may get baited to get up kicking low here, right? And then they do this. So if you do a low get up kick, it's gonna whiff and you're gonna get launched. This is basically what he's talking about. So be very, very careful about get up kicking there. Don't get baited by this fake flip. Some Law players might do this. I haven't seen this setup for a while, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't. But it can definitely happen. And it can happen like any kind of knockdown, even in neutral. Like for example, they just knock you down like this, and they just do this shit. And, right? Because you're gonna do a get up 3. It might happen there as well. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I haven't covered a lot of stuff about Law, because as I said, I can't DSS and I can't lab the guy correctly because of that. But more or less, hopefully this helps. The side step directions you kinda know, some mind games you kinda know, and the most complicated stuff, the DSS shit, a Law player will be able to explain that way better than I do. Like, holy shit, way better than I do. But yeah, I think that's it. YouTube, big thank you for watching. It's been a while. I haven't uploaded for a while, I know. I'll get back to it sooner or later, okay? Maybe actually sooner rather than later. But yeah, see you later, YouTube.